and powered by the Red 5 Network. For more, visit red5.bio.link. I feel like I should do oops, that was from St. Patrick's Day. I feel like I should do some flourish when that song's over, some blow glitter or something. But good morning, it's Thursday. It is Thursday, March 20th. It is your daily dose of dork, and I was gone for a couple of days. I had doctor's appointments. They weren't fun. But I'm back. We're going to talk some nerdy news. Your daily dose of dork. We got a couple in the chat already. Tumby is first. Good morning, Tumby. I get to yell everything and I love it. Good morning, Fernando. It is forever St. Patrick's Day in this house. Very proud of my Irish roots. Good morning, Taco Cat. Good morning. How is everyone? Have you had a good week? That's important. It's important to have a good week. I hope you've got your coffee, your tea going. I'm rocking some chai. It's easy on the tummy. Sensitive tummy. Loud noises! Good morning, Untamed Mando. It was lovely seeing you face to face again the other night on Tuesday on Jacob Ironside's discussion of Deep Space Nine. She's new to Star Trek, but we won't hold that against her. She's loving it so far. How was my couple of days? It was rough. I'm not going to lie. I had this doctor's appointment yesterday. I had to have this little procedure thing done. Was not enjoyable. I slept most of yesterday. Not going to lie. But I've got some stuff. Got some stuff to talk about today. Untamed Mando wants to know what we think of her logo. She's designed it herself. It looks incredible. I love it. You know how I feel about Mandalorians, period. It looks great. You did an amazing job. You did wonderful, darling. Wonderful. It's time to wind up the background music. Always feel like I should do some kind of thing to it, especially for the da-da-da-da-dong. Maybe I'll blow some glitter at you one day. It feels like it needs to happen. It just feels like it needs to happen. All right, guys, let's dig in. We got a couple of headlines to cover before we get into the meat and potatoes, if you will, topic. Our Shang-Chi 2 Agents of Atlas news. I got a great topic for tomorrow. I'm super excited about it. But since it's kind of a big one, I figured I'd save it for tomorrow. Okay, so first and foremost, before we go any further, do me a huge solid. Smash that like button. Give me a big fat thumbs up below. Subscribe if you're new and ring the notification bell so you get notified whenever I'm back with even more nerdy goodness. Alrighty. Help support that channel, guys. But not that way. That wasn't the button. This is the button. Okay, so I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Maggie Gyllenhaal is starring in a Frankenstein-ish movie called The Bride. Focuses on the Bride of Frankenstein. With Christian Bale as Frankenstein, as you see here, right here. It was due to be released this September, but now they've pushed it back 6 or 7 months to March of next year. Yeah, it was supposed to come out in a few months. Now it's not coming out until September or March of next year. I didn't even know it was happening. And I love classic sci-fi horror. She's kind of the mother of science fiction, in my opinion, with her Frankenstein book, or the modern Prometheus. Good morning, Loki. That is so rude. It's so rude. But good morning, sir. So tell me what you guys think. Did anyone else know about this film? Anybody? Anybody? Let me know in the chat below. Thank you for all the likes and loves over on Facebook. How kind of you, Facebook people. So I think we already talked about this, but Neil Blomkamp from Chappie, he's the one who's doing the Starship Troopers movie. Gives me a little bit more hope. But Casper Van Dien is all about this. He's the one sharing all this information, or he's sharing a lot of information about it. But Casper Van Dien, who starred in the 97 film, is really supportive of this. Super supportive. That gives me a little hope. Yep. Yep, 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 yep. Great book. Fantastic book. One of the most sci-fi books you could possibly come across. It's fantastic. That it might not suck. See, that's what I'm talking about. Blomkamp makes good stuff. I really like Chappie, even though Diane Wood was in it. That weird couple. Ugh. But that I've never cried over a robot. That was probably the first time I cried over a robot. Was Chappie. Yeah, got a little hope for it. Got a little hope. So, big news for X-Men 97 fans, i.e. me. Love X-Men 97. Speaking to Collider, the voice recording on X-Men 97 season 3 begins next week. So they've already finished season 2, the voice recording. And now they've moved on to season 3. Now remember, they had to change a lot of stuff because that perv Bo DeMaio, apologies, was constantly spoiling stuff. Like he got fired. He got fired for a very, very good reason. Reasons I cannot scrub out of my eyeballs and brain. I saw it, so you don't have to. Ugh. Anyway, he got fired for excellent reasons. Okay. And his way of dealing with it was to take to Twitter and spoil every single plot, not just for season 1, by giving people homework the night before the episode would come out, but basically blabbing about his plans for season 2. So Disney had to scramble, slap him with some threats like, listen, you signed a contract and that contract has a non-disclosure on it, so you've just screwed yourself there. Secondly, we are now scrapping everything you had planned for it and redoing it with the same writers he used, but Bo's plans went out the window, and no one is to blame but Bo in that regard. Good morning, Nerdling First Class Backyard TARDIS. Good morning. So, Disney, okay, had the writers come up with new directions. They seem to have come up with that relatively quick, which could be very good or very bad. Okay. But they finished all the voice stuff for season 2 months ago. And now they're getting ready to start the voice for season 3. So, moving on. Good news is Bo can't spoil anything for us going forward. He's going to complain a lot. I guarantee you that. He already is. So, but tell me what you think about that in the chat. Are you excited for more X-Men 97? I know I super am. You know, despite Bo DeMaio's actions and his behavior, season 1 was absolutely incredible. Just beautifully done. beautifully done. It makes me really sad that he really could not control himself or conduct himself professionally, because he might have just ruined the fun for everyone with that. So we'll see. We'll see. Anyone have any fears about X-Men 97 seasons 2 and 3 not performing like season 1? Because I do have concerns. I'm excited. I'm still excited. But there are concerns. There are concerns. Tell me in the chat below. I've taken issue with Twitter and moving my bookmarks around, throwing them out of order. Like, I was looking at it this morning, getting ready for the stream, and while I'm looking at it, it rearranges. It's very frustrating. So we'll be doing some scrolling. Loki says, what if it was good because of him? Lots of creatives are freaks, but still make good shows. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He did have other writers, though. Like, let me pull up this dude's name, because Bo wasn't the only one writing those episodes. And I'm hoping that they learned their lesson. Like, this is how Bo did this, and it turned out amazing. So we need to not mess with that formula. Keep that formula. But like I said, there were other writers on X-Men 97. It wasn't just him. It absolutely team effort. Matthew Chauncey, I believe he is the new showrunner. And he's been chosen to write season 3 and season 2. So, but you also have Jake Castorena. He worked on season 1 and is working side by side with him. Larry Houston, Eric and Julia Leewald, they're still invited. So it's everyone but Bo. Everyone but Bo. Good morning, Penny. Oh, missions today. You are so sweet. I just love you, Penny. You have a good day. Good morning, We the People TV. I'm in fear for seasons 2 and 3. Bring Bo back. Bo really messed up, dude. I synced it. He really messed up. Tomby. Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as Loki here. While his antics should have been curb stomped, he was pushing a decent story in terms of writing with the other creatives here. Very true. His antics were a little more than antics. It was pretty bad. You don't shit where you eat, man. And here's the thing. They tried to stop it. He was warned multiple times, especially when he started putting naked pictures on Instagram, like a year and a half ago. In November, before, I think it was November 2023, Disney was like, hey, stop putting that shit on Instagram. Stop posting this stuff. That's gross. Don't do that. Do not do that. You signed an ethics clause. Okay? You signed something agreeing that you would behave accordingly, basically. And you're working on a children's cartoon show. Or, I mean, come on, it's a cartoon show on Disney. Kids are going to watch it. They warned him. They're like, stop doing it right now. And so then he opened his OnlyFans, but made it public. No paywall, no restrictions, made it public. And he was doing some of the most vile things on this OnlyFans. It's absolutely disgusting. So, like I said, he was sending this stuff to coworkers. Okay? I've seen it. He's sending it to coworkers. It's nasty. That's why he got fired. And I don't think we should bring him back, no matter how good that show was, because what message does that send? Backyard TARDIS, if it's not with original story plans, then I fear that it will struggle with the writers wanting to get back to what was lost and the story will suffer. That is a legitimate concern. That is legitimate. But like I said, they're sticking with everyone but Bo. And they did have to change some things. And it is Bo's fault that they had to change some things because Bo was spoiling everything on Twitter. He was spoiling it. Omari says, good morning, Omari. First and foremost, season 3 already? They're already done with season 2? Yep, it's in post-production as we speak. As we speak. Tubby says, but at the end of the day, you can't behave that way, so face the consequences precisely. It will be a shame if the program suffers because he couldn't keep his Todger behind bars. I love how British that entire comment is. I love it. You're absolutely correct, sir. Absolutely correct. He should never come back. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. Why is Weed the People? Stop it, Streamlabs. I need to figure out how to remove that. But yeah, it was. I can't even say out loud what he was doing because it was just public. Anyone could come across it. Children. He was warned. And he did it anyway because he does not give up. He doesn't. He doesn't. It's all about the attention for him. If you want to know if that is a factual statement that it's all about the attention for him, just glance at his Twitter page. Just quarter of a scroll. Just you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. He can't help himself. Can't help it. Now we got to sift through this mess that Twitter has made. And this is absolutely not true. It's not true. You got to watch it with the MCU source updates, whatever accounts, because they're just on some bullshit most of the time. This isn't true. There have been talks about doing multiple seasons about it, but nothing has officially been announced or set in stone. So no such animal as an officially renewed Hawkeye series at this time. In talks. Okay, they're mulling it over, but nothing official yet. Okay, so look at this. So now we're suspecting that Sadie Sink could actually be the bad guy in Spider-Man 4, and that she could be Lady Doc Ock. What do we think of that? I've heard first thing I heard was, nope, she's not MJ. We've already got an MJ. She's not MJ. She's going to be Jean Grey. And then I heard, nope, she's not Jean Grey. It's a multiversal tale, and she's an MJ. She's a Mary Jane Watson. Now we're hearing that the main villain of Spider-Man 4 is a lady, and it's possibly Sadie Sink. Oh, Tomby, you and my boyfriend would get along fabulously. He too says that gingers have no souls, but he's like half a ginger himself, so I don't get why he says that. Yeah. Very, very confusing. But this is also from My Time to Shine. Hello. They're not always right. Okay. They're not always right. Sometimes they be on some bullshit too. Look, I love redheads. My late brother was a redhead. I love redheads. And I'm Irish. How can we not love redheads? Spider-Man 4 sounds like a mess right now. See? People love redheads. I'm just saying. You can't say save the redheads and then say gingers are soulless. God, Tommy, get it together. But yeah. this just does sound very confusing. That just goes to show you there's so much out there about Spider-Man 4, so much conflicting stuff that none of it's probably true. Tommy says, I love redheads. Absolutely. I just worry that they're scheming to drag me off to some dark place. What's wrong with that? Fernando, why do we need 2 MJs? Excellent question. I think it's because it always boils down to Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson. And that the Mary Jane Watson in Spider-Man 4 is from a different universe. See, I've changed Tomby's mind. Actually, Gingers, please take me. This sounds like Sony's making the Spider-Man. It's Sony and Marvel together. Anytime you see a Spider-Man movie, it's Sony and Marvel together. Loki says female Doc Ock would follow their dumb female Silver Surfer idea. Well, see, they're doing multiverse stuff. These characters do exist in the comics. They're not saying they're the main ones. They're saying they're multiversal variants. Fernando says, is Zendaya not in this movie? She is. She is. But remember, Michelle Jones and Ned, none of them remember that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Omari says, we need Black Cat already. Peter needs to get his freak on. Is Sydney Sweeney playing Black Cat? That is a good question. I'm wondering if we're ever going to get confirmation on that before the movie comes out. I'm wondering. She is rather randy, isn't she? So TV Line has come out and said that an MCU hero will be mentioned by name and make an appearance in season 1 of Daredevil Born Again. Miss Marvel. Parker has like 10 girlfriends, including Carol Danvers. Haha. Facts. Sydney is overrated. Boy, you just started an online war with that one, Fernando. It's Miss Marvel. It's definitely going to be Miss Marvel. How do I know this? Well, we've all seen the trailer, and her dad is in the Daredevil Born Again season 1 trailer. So, makes sense. It would be Miss Marvel. It would be wild, wouldn't it? Like, bring the lightest, happiest, easygoing, sunshine and rainbows MCU character into the darkest pits of the MCU. Yeah, it's 100% Miss Marvel. And she's in the area. Her dad's in the trailer. I'm really interested to see this because honestly, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I believe the Miss Marvel casting is on par with the Daredevil casting. Charlie Cox was made to play Matt Murdock just as much as Iman Vellani was made to play Kamala Khan. She is Miss Marvel. But I love her so much. I love Iman Vellani. She is an uber nerd like us. She takes it seriously. It would be like me getting to play Wonder Woman. That would be like, oh, would never, ever happen. I look nothing like Wonder Woman. Like 3 feet tall. And that's just one of the many reasons why I could not play Wonder Woman. But she's my all-time favorite comic book character. Okay. I love Wonder Woman. And that is Miss Marvel for Iman Vellani. And she just happens to basically embody everything else about Miss Marvel. So she's perfect casting. Absolutely perfect casting for Miss Marvel. Despite how you may feel about the show, her casting is just absolutely dead on. So I would be very interested to see how this plays out on screen. Tommy says his favorite is Judge Dredd. Nice. Very cool. Omari says directors can pull enough camera trips to make you look as tall as Linda Carter and Gal Gadot. I am not an actress, though. I should make that very clear. Untamed Mando says, I'm sure she's fine, but I don't think they've done her marketing well. They have not. And that is something that the MCU has really been lacking for the last several years. We the People TV says, no Iman slander here. None, none, none. Tommy says, had the pleasure of interviewing Pat Mills, creator of Judge Dredd. That's amazing. That's incredible. That's a wonderful feeling. Like, I'll never get to interview Charles Moulton Marston. That's super cool. I did get to talk to one half of the creators of Deadpool, Fabian Nicieza. He was very cool. Very cool. Lance at the Outcast Creative. Very cool. Very nice. But yeah, I'm very interested in seeing how Iman Vellani and Charlie Cox play these characters on screen together. I think that would be cool. Yeah, he was a weirdo, but he kept it private. He kept it super private. And he invented the lie detector. Good morning, hyperspace heroes. Morning, everyone. Just jumping on. Why do you have a John Krasinski on your 10 Rings thumbnails? Oh, I do love a good Asian Jim joke. I do. All right. On to Star Wars. Stares at camera. There we go. There's my Jim look here. Let me see if I can do a Jim look. We the People. Miss Marvel could run with the Defenders for a while and get some ground level training. That's an excellent idea. That's a really good idea. Love it. All right, on to Star Wars. The Mandalorian and Grogu has a $166 million budget, the cheapest Star Wars film made since Revenge of the Sith. And that's with inflation. That's a good thing. This is coming from Collider. That is almost 50 million less than they spent on the Acolyte. It's cheaper than the Acolyte. So hopefully that is a good thing. That is telling me lots of practical sets, practical effects. No overblown, bloated budget. They probably didn't go buy another studio. Oh, the Acolyte is the worst thing to happen to television ever. You will have zero argument from me on that one. They did a terrible job. They had such an opportunity and they just crapped all over it. Good morning, my nerd sister Nicole. Good morning. Rose said the other day it was 120 million. It's already gone up. Huh. Well, this is from Collider. Let's see what this says. It got a bountiful California tax credit. So that means they most definitely did not buy a new studio to film like they have been doing with every single Star Wars project. They filmed it in California. That's good news. So they got the budget, the production budget overall is $166.4 million. And was the recipient of a bountiful tax credit from the state of California to the tune of $21.75 million, which certainly helped when it came to the bean counting at the end of the day. The figures were revealed by the California Film Commission. This will mark the first theatrical release for a Star Wars movie in 7 years by the time it opens up in multiplexes next May. And it's clear that Disney has both high hopes for it, or it's clear that Disney both has high hopes for it. Mando became the face of Disney Plus when the streaming platform first opened, along with an air of caution, given the substantially low budget of the movie in comparison to the other theatrical releases since they purchased Lucasfilm. Hyperspace says probably a lot of volume filming since that's its bread and butter. Honestly, Acolyte could have used a little less soundstage and a bit more volume to give it a cinematic universe feel. Just one of the many things the Acolyte could have used, like actual writing, like actual humans writing it instead of Chat GPT. That would have been helpful. But yeah, having that low of a budget for its first feature film in almost a decade at this point. By the time, when did, almost, by the time it comes out, it'll be almost 10 years. So the lower budget means caution. And that's a good thing. That means they're being more careful. Careful is key. But the fact that Favreau and Filoni are in charge of it does give me a bit more hope. And how Filoni has felt for the since season 2 of Mandalorian, that he's done with the interference. Yeah, that's a good scene. It's a good sign. It's a very good sign. Good morning, Truth. Good morning. They better get this right or I'm going to riot, says Mando. I think we all will. Yeah, 166 million is considered low budget now. God, our economy's in the crapper. This is so bad. All right. Here we go. That's not what I was looking for. See, they've thrown this so far out of order. Oh, Jason Momoa says his version of Lobo is pretty dead on. I saw that coming. He looks like Lobo. He dresses like Lobo. Just on any given day. Jason Momoa wakes up, dresses like Lobo, leaves the house. Like, you don't even have to pay a stylist, a costumer for him for this film. But he is exactly like the character, Momoa says. And he's pretty rough and gruff. I'll say the bike's really cool. I have 100% faith that will be an accurate on-screen Lobo. I'm not worried at all. I'm not worried at all about Lobo in the least. Oh, this is so frustrating. Someone tell Twitter to please stop doing this. Everything is so out of order. Oh, did you hear that Coyote versus Acme got bought by, what's it called? Ketchup Productions? But it's going to come out. Coyote versus Acme is going to come out. Anyone excited for this live action / animated Looney Tunes film about Wile E. Coyote? I really don't care either way. Jason Ritter, we talked about him being in Lanterns. Ryan Reynolds has moved to dismiss him being involved in Justin Baldoni's lawsuit. That's kind of hilarious. He's like, you can't sue for hurt feelings, bro. Let me out of this. It's ridiculous that I'm involved. Nicole talking about Coyote versus Acme. Let the audience decide if it's good or not. I love Looney Tunes. Fernando says he doesn't care. Mando didn't know about it until now. That's crazy. Tom B, to be honest, I would sooner gag on something phallic than worry about Wile E. Coyote. Wow. That's saying something. That's saying something. Trying to find something, but Twitter has just jacked up my list here. Have you guys seen this? We've got some Daredevil Born Again season 2 set leaks already. We're like, what, 3 or 4 episodes in? 4, I think, into Daredevil Born Again season 1, and we're already getting set leaks for season 2. Snow White reviews. They've changed literally everything about Snow White. They've changed everything. They have, I found it. She's Snow White because she survived a snowstorm. She's not the fairest of them all. She's the most brave and true. It's not Snow White anymore. I'll watch it to review it, but I have very little hope. Nicole says, I'll be watching the 1937 Snow White movie. Yeah. Yeah, they've changed everything about it. All right. This is what I was looking for. So they've announced the runtime for Superman. Current runtime is roughly 2 hours and 20 minutes. So 2.5 hour long film. Yeah. That's according to Jeff Snyder. 2.5 hours long. I knew somebody was gonna say it. And I knew it was gonna be Loki. 2 hours and 20 minutes. That's too much. I guess it all depends on when we watch it. I'm excited for July. July is going to be awesome. We've got Superman and Fantastic Four. I'm pretty excited to see what they have done with Superman. And 2.5 hours, that is a long movie. They need to bring back intermissions. Because I'm middle-aged and I've had a bunch of kids. I need to pee. Oh, we're talking Superman. I don't know how long Snow White is, but Superman is 2 hours and 20 minutes. Mando says, I really hope they do Fantastic Four justice. Right? It's about time. True says, hey, I'll wait for the 4-hour Ultimate Edition. Oh, wait, those days are over. Thank God. Don't tell the Snyder Bros, though. They're very happy in their delusion. Loki says, I want to see Superman, and it would be the first theater film I've seen in 10 years. But 2 hours and 20 minutes is a bit much. Not if you're having a good time. If it's good and it's 2 hours and 20 minutes long, that 2 hours and 20 minutes isn't going to matter. It's not going to matter. But if it's bad and 2 hours and 20 minutes long, then you're going to feel that. Backyard TARDIS says Snow White is 30 minutes longer than the animated film. Huh. Oh, yeah. And Nicole's birthday's in July. That was my son Kessler's, who's going to MEPS next week, guys. He's going to MEPS next week. Once that's over, then we find out when he leaves for basic. Hot dog. Fernando says, where was the same negative energy about Endgame being 3 hours long? Because Endgame was great. That's what I'm talking about. If it's good, if it's great, that length is not going to matter. That's what she said. Thank you, Tom P. Thank you very much. Yeah, if it's good, a long runtime is not going to matter. That's what I care about. All right. All right. We've got apparently the black suit's going to be showing up next season, which we knew. We saw the helmet. I did. I saw Endgame in theaters, and it was a wonderful time. I got a real funny story about it. I'll tell you guys about it sometime. So we're getting black suit Daredevil next season. Not this season, but next season. Some more Karen in the red wig. On set season 2 being filmed. Are you guys liking Daredevil Born Again? I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Scrolling because Twitter jacked up my order. I had this all saved in order. So frustrating. Okay. So here we go. Oh, I already had it pulled up. Let me remove this because I already had it pulled up. Already had it pulled up. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. See, I'm hearing this too. I've heard some people say it's meh, and I've heard some people say it's amazing. I think it's amazing. I'm really enjoying it. I don't think we're going to get another solo series again for Punisher, but he is getting a special presentation. Yep. Because I'm a professional. Okay. I'm a professional. Okay. So this is what Alex from the Cosmic Circus heard from Shang-Chi and Agents of Atlas. If you don't know about Alex and Cosmic Circus, check him out. He's always dead on. He gives good information. He vets everything. In 2021, following an almost year-long absence due to COVID-19 pandemic, Marvel Studios kicked off a new era of storytelling with the Multiverse Saga, where in Phase 4, we saw a whole array of bold storytelling and new characters we hadn't seen before. I mean, that's a choice of words for that, to describe that. While some fans debate the hit or miss quality of those releases, Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings stand out as a fan favorite among MCU fans. I really enjoyed it. My boys and I went and saw it together. Oh, all my kids actually. My whole family went and saw it together. The debut of the character Shang-Chi, portrayed by Simu Liu, was one of the most well-received characters in the new saga. The remarkable exploration of the new corner of the MCU brought a fresh breath of air to fans. They've been curious as to when exactly we'll get a chance to see Shang-Chi return to the big screen. Sources have informed me that Simu Liu is expected to return to the MCU for the next installments of the Avengers franchise, Doomsday and Secret Wars. Regarding the specifics of his role, he'll be called upon to join the fight by the current Sorcerer Supreme, Wong. But what else does the MCU hold in store for the current wielder of the Ten Rings? While specifics about Shang-Chi's involvement in those films are currently sparse, I did want to go ahead and talk about some rumors I heard about his future involvement in the MCU, mainly rumors that revolve around the ideas for the sequel of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. As always, these What I Heard posts are articles where I often discuss rumors that I've heard from sources regarding potential ideas for projects, usually out years in advance. Most of the time, these articles pan out, but sometimes they don't. So, the important thing when reading this is to take it with a grain of salt. That being said, let's break down today's report. As you may have surmised from the title of the article, I heard from several sources that the idea for Shang-Chi's next solo outing will involve the organization known as the Atlas Foundation. The Atlas Foundation would serve as the potential villains of the next Shang-Chi sequel, following the agents of Atlas to eventually form either during the film or subsequently after. Time for some comic book history, he says. The Atlas Foundation in Marvel Comics is one of the oldest secret organizations in history, with the foundation being formed around the time of the twilight of the 14th century by descendants of Genghis Khan, who sought to continue the legacy of the Mongol Empire with the sole purpose of conquering the world. To achieve this, they established their dominance via business fronts in multiple industries, researching magic and science, and further developing their criminal organization network across many districts around the world. All of the leaders were direct descendants of Genghis Khan, the Mongolian warlord. And the most notable leaders of the organization were Master Plan Shu and his successor, Jimmy Woo. Oh, and to top it all off, they have a dragon as an advisor named Mr. Lao, but we'll get to him in a bit. Now, Jimmy Woo's parents didn't want their son to be subjected to this role as a leader of the Atlas Foundation, hell bent on world domination. Hence, they immigrated to America, far away from the Atlas Foundation's reach. But little did they know that the Atlas Foundation had their eyes on him the whole time, particularly Master Plan Shu, who, under the moniker Golden Claw, basically used that villainous identity to manipulate and lure Jimmy into his ultimate plan of taking his place as the leader of the foundation. Eventually, Plan Shu was eaten alive by Mr. Lau, and Jimmy Woo took over the organization, vowing to change its ways and use its resources for the benefit of the world. This consequently led to the creation of the Agents of Atlas. Now that we have a bit of comic book backstory, we can dive into what I heard article and how Marvel Studios plans to adapt this story. For starters, one of the themes that sources told us was how the film would approach the impact of Wen Wu's death following the events of the first film. As you might recall, Wen Wu, better known as the Mandarin, created and led the Ten Rings for over 1,000 years, using the organization to become one of the most powerful criminal organizations in the world. His sacrifice, as well as the change in the chain of command in the organization with Xiling taking over, would send ripples across the criminal organizations worldwide. Still, none would be more interested than the Atlas Foundation. According to what sources inform us, the Ten Rings has developed quite a rivalry with the Atlas Foundation, dating back to as early as the 13th century when Genghis Khan rose to power and the Mongol Empire began the conquest of China and India. When Wu and Khan would have been mortal enemies, and their armies would have waged war for decades. Eventually, Wen Wu would have succeeded. In the aftermath of their upcoming demise, the Mongol Empire would have stumbled upon Mr. Lao, who would have advised them to go underground and regroup to build their empire slowly into what would eventually become the Atlas Foundation. Once Wen Wu died, the idea was that the Atlas Foundation would finally step into the light without the threat of the Mandarin, and while the Ten Rings were vulnerable to take on and defeat their rival. Pardon me. This is how we'd be able to bring back Xiling and Shang-Chi. The Golden Horde, Atlas Foundation's warriors, would attack the Ten Rings headquarters and potentially try to take out Xiling, which would also bring back Shang-Chi into the scene. In addition, sources have told us that Agent Jimmy Woo would be involved, as he would be after the mysterious Golden Claw, and together with Shang-Chi would uncover the conspiracy behind the Atlas Foundation, since the Golden Claw, Golden Wars, and Atlas Foundation would all ultimately connect. Additionally, one source discussed how Marvel might be looking into developing some background for Mr. Lau, which would further deepen the connections between Miss Marvel's clandestines and the Ten Rings. In the comics, Mr. Lau had battled a jinn known as Al Shalazar, from whom he learned the secrets to transform himself into a human. As you might recall, Miss Marvel introduces us to the clandestines who were mistaken for jinn when they first arrived to Earth. Pardon me. When they first arrived on Earth in Asia. Sources mention the idea of the clandestines possibly encountering Mr. Lau as the man from the temple in episode 3, who would have guided them to the Hidden Ten Rings Cave, which would have also been the site of battle between the Ten Rings and the Mongol Empire, and evidenced by the helmet being held by Farina, which is similar to that of the Mongol Empire attire during that era. Okay. There we're in the Ten Rings Cave. According to our sources, the idea of this potential plot line for the Shang-Chi sequel would allow Marvel to introduce the Agents of Atlas, whether during this film or afterward. Once Jimmy Woo takes over as leader of the Atlas Foundation. As for members, we could see a part of this group. Sources are pointing out a few names that Marvel has their eyes on introducing in coming years, which could be part of the team. One such character is Amadeus Cho, who was initially meant to make their MCU debut during Brave New World, but was ultimately cut out last minute, like a lot of things from Captain America Brave New World, and it's super obvious. He was portrayed by Logan Kim. Another character Marvel wants for Agents of Atlas is Iron Fist, is primarily Lin Lee. Iron Fist. Another character Marvel Studios is considering, thanks to her popularity in the new Marvel Rivals game, is Luna Snow. Each one of these characters was a notable member of the team in the comics. It's from Post All New, All Different. I think so. But it does sound like a good story. I'd watch it hard. So that's all he has right now. But Alex is usually dead on. And this is all going to play into what we're talking about tomorrow. I've got some rumors and speculation on Doomsday and Secret Wars, and we're going to talk about them tomorrow. It's just too big to do on this show. So we're going to talk about it tomorrow. It's pretty crazy. Loki says Shang-Chi didn't make back its real budget. China wasn't impressed by it. It has been too long. I bet you real money it never happens. I bet it does. I think it does. I think it does happen because Shang-Chi was one of the better received Marvel projects in the last few years. I bet it does happen. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. This is a really good article. And I love the plot. I love the story. It all fits. It feels organic. I like it. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. What do you guys think? Other than Loki. Loki's already said this like 3 times. Someone else needs to speak up. Fernando says it sounds good. I'm down. But tell me what you think in the chat. I'm here for it. Sounds good. Can Sadie Stink maybe be playing Silk? Oh, Stink. I mean, that's Possible, but I heard she's going to be MJ. Mary Jane Watson. A multiversal Mary Jane. Backyard TARDIS says he's here for Agents of Atlas. Yeah, let's do it. Sounds like a good story. That's the thing. Who cares if it's if it's a good story, it's a good story. If it's a good movie, it's a good movie. I don't care who it's about. If it's good, it's good. That's all that matters to me. I just want it to be good. And it sounds like they've got a good foundation to work from so far. But if you have any last minute questions, comments, or emotional outbursts, please leave them in the chat below. We'll wrap it up. Loki says, I like Shang-Chi. I'm just being realistic for what normies care about. I get it. Being realistic is good. And I should have plugged in my hardwire because I'm using strictly Wi-Fi right now. And I can see that the quality is going, I'll remember tomorrow, I promise. But if you give normies something entertaining to watch, they will go see it. It doesn't matter if they know about them or not. Loud noises! What was the 10 rings signaling at the end of Shang-Chi? We're going to talk about it tomorrow. I don't want to ruin it today. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. Because the 10 rings and Miss Marvel's gauntlets, her bracelets, they tie into what I heard. And it sounds really good. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Questions, comments, emotional outbursts, leave them in the chat below. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are the best. I love that you love starting your day with me because I love starting my day with you. I do. And if you want to help support the channel, the easiest way to do it is the cheapest, the freest, the easiest. All you got to do is smash that like button, give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, ring the notification bell to get notified whenever I'm back with even more nerdy goodness, share the stream, watch a video. I got a brand new breakdown. Achebe, Reverend Dr. Achebe from Black Panther Comics. I'm currently working on The Question breakdown for Nerdling First Class Backyard TARDIS. That is coming up next. I will be writing on that today while I've got my feet up, resting a little bit after my little procedure yesterday. But if you would like to help support the channel in other ways, thank you so much, because I can't keep the stream going without help from you guys at home. So the first thing you can do is you can scan this QR code right here. It takes you to buymeacoffee.com/comicsandmua. You can tip me as little or as much as you like, but proceeds 1000% go to paying for streaming software and editing software like you see me using right now. You can also use Cash App, $ DanielleSoncasie. Soncasie, not Sanchez, not Soncasie, not Soncasey. Okay, it's Soncasie. It's French, but I'm not French. It's a long story. Anyway, you also have our merch store at comicsandcosmetics.etsy.com. All 100% original graphic design on any possible product you could imagine. The koozies are my favorite. I love koozies. I love koozies. If you want to send me a gift, it's probably a koozie. I need to order some of my koozies because they're pretty dope. Like my Dune Visit Sunny Arrakis. It's pretty dope. You ought to check that out. I'm also sponsored by amazing companies like Leash Boss. If you have pups at home, I have the best company for you, and I'm even saving you 10% off. Check it out. All these links are in the description below, including my links for Zenny Optical, where I get my glasses, Cora's Vault, where I get my superhero collectibles, CoraVault.com/comics, and use code COMICSAND at checkout for 10% off. And what did you know? I have a Patreon. I do. If you would like to join the official Nerdling Army and get access to exclusive content, exclusive chat, exclusive Nerdling Army merch, updates, previews, you name it, go to patreon.com/comicsand and choose one of our three tiers starting as little as $3 a month. So go to patreon.com/comicsand and check it out today. What is going on with the negabands? Yeah, negabands. Sorry, Streamlabs is just crazy today, isn't it? It's super crazy. I am a member of the Red 5 Network. We are a collective of content creators and podcasters that put out exclusively nerdy Let's start that all over again because apparently I'm struggling with words today. They are hard. Hi. I'm a member of the Red 5 Network. We are a collective of exclusively nerdy podcasters and content creators who love talking about this stuff 24/7. I'm serious. So if you enjoyed this podcast, chances are you will enjoy all of the other Red 5 Network content. So go to red5.bio link today to check out all the Red 5 Network has to offer. Ta-da! Are you using the force? Use that force, girl. Use it. Use it. But that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you have enjoyed today's stream. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time when we talk about what I've heard, what they're trying to put together for Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. And it sounds dope. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey, keep an eye out, because I heard
Disney and Cassie and Kennedy are gonna get you.